I see the legacy as the music, really. I mean, for me personally, it's really about the music and the power of the music and the staying power of it. I don't really think as a personality, as a celebrity, he would have that spot that he still maintains if it wasn't for the power and the veracity and of the music. They're all my favorite photos. That's why they're in the book. uh, let's first talk. We'll talk a little bit about this one because this is the image that I chose for the special edition of the book, which came with a print. I don't think he wanted to be famous per se, but I think he wanted to be well known and accepted. Like, yeah, uh, and just like I think for him, I mean, there's a lost period there that people have talked about in Olympia, where he when Dave Grohl first joined the band, and he and Chris and Kurt just went into a cold warehouse, lived on top ramen for 6 months, and just practiced. All pictures that didn't make it in. Yeah, we had a whole portrait section and a backstage. Uh, and it was I believe it was too much for him once he actually got there. I don't think he knew how to deal with it. I don't think any of us really would have, honestly, or at least I wouldn't have. And then, all the pressures of the industry and having a child and all that stuff.
How's it going?
Really not a part of my life anymore. When I was definitely in my early 20s and I was confused about life and what I wanted out of it, a lot of that resonated with me. A lot of the frustration in the music, that resonated with me a lot. Well, thank you for your time.
Take it easy, man.
This on him. It just was the picture we found out the day we were going to press. Courtney Love was supposed to be on the cover of the Rock. What happens with this piece? Where is it?
I think the legacy of Kurt Cobain is multifaceted. There's the personal legacy for people like me who knew him and knew his music and saw the band, and that's the loss of a human being, and that is an extra layer of grief for that. And I think all of Seattle feels that. We felt like he was ours and Washington State, and his death and the tragedy of that is something that's still really felt deeply as a personal loss. But I think his legacy after 30 years after his death is more in the work that he created and how that has consistently sustained. He's considered a better songwriter now than he was 30 years ago.
Coffee shop, but it doesn't feel. It doesn't.
And then beyond that is a generational spokesperson. He was a once in a generation figure. He was so outspoken about politics. He's the only artist I've ever known who put on an album, "Don't buy my record if you're a homophobe or a racist." Lady Gaga, no matter how much she speaks out about causes, never put that on an album. Kurt, as a figure, a transformative figure with the idea of his music is about something, and he was so outspoken in that way. I think that changed the whole music industry that has happened. He's made it okay for people to really be themselves. I look at his life instead, in a way, I find an incredible gift out of it. The fact that he was able to create this and live as long as he did and create this work, I see it in a bizarre way as a victory. Yes, losing him at 27, so young and so in the prime of life, is a horrible tragedy. But given how difficult his life was and how often suicide and drugs had been an issue, it's a miracle in the way we got as much of Kurt Cobain as we did.
I grew up with the music. I'm a fan of the music, of all music, but my favorite is Nirvana. And to me, the music of Nirvana is a music, sincerely music. And punk music to me is like the way of being alive. It's a way of life to me, Nirvana. Nirvana for me is like a philosophy to respect women, do it yourself, rock and roll. That's to me Nirvana and the legacy of Cobain.